Hey everybody, Candace here. I just had an idea for a video while I was coloring a mandala and making some cookies. Okay, so I wanted to talk about diet for highly sensitive people. I have recognized in the last few months only that I am a highly sensitive person, and I'm very sensitive to the way food makes me feel. And if you're anything like me, meaning you are sensitive to how food makes you feel, people, the energy of people, big crowds, or just the environment, you know, you are kind of affected, you feel a lot when you're in big crowds, then I would highly suggest checking into your diet, because for me, I have looked at the different foods that I eat and how they make me feel. The last 4 years, I've actually taken a lot of time for looking at how food makes me feel and recognize that, when I eat processed foods or when I'm eating out, I don't always feel my best. So I want to give you some tips for feeling your best. Who doesn't want to feel their best? So my number one tip for highly sensitive people and diet, that would be reducing or eliminating stimulants. So caffeine, drugs, alcohol. When I was drinking a lot of alcohol, I was always brain fogged. My body felt, always anxious and nervous. It was like my nerves were pulsating. I never felt at ease. I felt very detached from myself, from my purpose. I really felt out of body. And since I haven't had any alcohol, drugs, or caffeine, well, maybe a little bit of caffeine and some teas that I've had along my way, but I do try to have no caffeine, because I really do find that it brings me out of body, and I like the feeling of being centered. So if you enjoy being centered, then that is my number one tip. My number two tip, this isn't, I guess, anywhere in order, but this would be a whole food plant-based diet. So I find that when I eat anything that's fragmented, so meaning processed, anything that's processed, fragmentation is another word for that, I guess. I actually feel fragmented in my body. Like my thoughts are kind of all over the map, and I'm here and there and everywhere, and I don't feel grounded. I don't feel grounded. I don't know which thoughts are mine, which thoughts are somebody else's. And so I find when I have whole foods, then I feel more whole. Like I feel more grounded, I guess you would say. I feel more peaceful and calmer and more collect. So whole food, plant-based diet, yes, number two. Okay, I guess let's dive into actually that a little bit more. So what that looks like. So I eat actually a lot of fruit. When I eat all fruit, because my diet is mostly raw, when I eat a ton, like most fruit, then I kind of feel a little bit out there and really expansive, lots of energy. When I'm focused and I'm eating lots of fruit, nothing can stop me. Now, when I want to feel you know, grounded and I'm looking for some clarity, and I want to, maybe I need to sit and read a book, or I need to sit and do some work on the computer, then I find vegetables being so nourishing, very grounded. I eat lots of salads when I want that feeling, because I really enjoy that feeling of lightness. Now, there's times when I feel like, oh, I'd rather not eat at all, because I am that sensitive to, you know, when food comes in, I do notice that, you know, it takes me a little bit out of my element. So out of my, you know, if I'm really trying to focus, then even eating at all takes me out. However, to do what I want to do, to live in this society, to experience these experiences that I want to have, eating is important. It is super important. And so I don't suggest that anybody avoids eating. There are breatharians, they exist, and it's, I'm sure, an incredible way of living. But here for me, in this environment, food is necessary. So I suggest eating, you know, lots of vegetables when you want to feel grounded, and lots of fruit when you want lots of energy and you want to, you know, really move forward with a vision that you have. Your vision is clear and you want to execute it. Now, that consists, those foods, fruits and vegetables, are majority of my diet. There's, you know, whole grains, potatoes, legumes that I suggest eating as well. But for me, that requires moderation. So a very small amount of starch I would suggest, because starch is very heavy. So if you want to feel really heavy, satiated, starches are great. For me, as soon as I have too much starch, I start feeling that brain fog, the, you know, a bit disconnected. Before, when I used to eat cooked foods, a lot of cooked foods, and all different kinds, like they're not plant-based whole foods, you know, I was not feeling good in my body, and I was always experiencing brain fog and anxiousness, nervousness, all of these things, and I never felt like good in my body. And so I suggest, you know, the most important thing is breath, always breath. And yeah, just yes, staying connected to whole plant-based foods, plant-based living. Okay, so we've got reducing alcohol, or eliminating alcohol, drugs, and caffeine. Second big one is plant-based, you know, living. It's you know, the foods are so important. Having as little refined foods as possible, sticking to whole foods, and, you know, I guess my third thing would be to really make food for yourself, or find somebody who you trust, who's using good ingredients, who really cares about food and nourishing people, because the energy that people put into the food will affect you. As a highly sensitive person, I know that I actually don't eat out very often, because the energy that comes through the food highly affects me. So I don't know, when I leave, I don't know if I'm feeling my feelings or feeling somebody else's feelings. I don't know where these thoughts are coming from. And, you know, it's just, there's depression and yeah, just the clarity goes away when I'm eating out. I feel the energy that comes through the food. So my third tip would be to either make the food yourself, which people are like, no, or find somebody who really cares, who's, you know, maybe it's a restaurant or it's some sort of service that really is putting their heart into it. They're doing it for the right reasons, and you'll notice a huge difference in not just your clarity, but your digestion. When your digestion is, you know, aligned and you don't have any gas or bloating, you don't feel like you need to take a shower after you eat, you know, everything is smooth and goes in and out in one clean swoop, then you know you're on the right track. So I guess let me just leave you with those three things. So reducing or eliminating caffeine, drugs, alcohol, eating a whole food, plant-based diet, and third would be, you know, finding somebody that is making the food for you who really loves it. You know, whether it's yourself, you know, you're infusing your own energy into it, or you have a trusted person that's making you wholesome foods. So that would be my video for a highly sensitive person and diet. Okay, sending lots of love. Bye for now.